Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. Could the Bucs and Falcons be running the exact same offense in 2024? Hardly anyone's talked about it yet, but the Falcons and the Buccaneers hired former LA Rams assistants to call plays on offense this year. The Bucs hired 38-year-old Liam Coen, who spent 4 years with the Rams as an offensive assistant, sandwiched around 2 years as a play caller and offensive coordinator at Kentucky in 2021 and 2023. Coen was the offensive coordinator in LA under Sean McVay in 2022 and worked with Baker Mayfield at the end of that season. When former LA defensive coordinator Raheem Morris was hired by the Falcons this offseason, he brought Zach Robinson with him to be his offensive coordinator and play caller. The 37-year-old Robinson spent 5 years with the Rams as an offensive assistant under Sean McVay. So how similar will the Bucs and Falcons offenses be in 2024? Well, let's take a look. We know that Coen and Robinson are disciples of Rams head coach and offensive mastermind Sean McVay. Coen has gone on record saying that the Bucs will be running an awful lot of 11 personnel, which is a 3 wide receiver set this year. Well, guess what? That's exactly what the Falcons will be deploying too when it comes to personnel groupings. This is what Falcon Report had to say about Zach Robinson's expected personnel usage in Atlanta. Zach Robinson hails from an offense that led the NFL in running 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers last season. The Falcons, conversely, ranked 31 league-wide in 11 personnel, but led the league in 12 personnel, which is 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 receiver looks. The Rams, meanwhile, were last in 12 personnel. That's one of the big reasons why the Falcons let Jonnu Smith, the tight end, leave in free agency. The Falcons already had a receiving tight end in Kyle Pitts, who will also be playing wide receiver in addition to tight end this year in Atlanta. And the Falcons signed 2 wide receivers to start next to Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Ray McCloud this offseason so they could field those 3 wide receiver sets. Because the Bucs will also be running 11 personnel almost exclusively, they spent a 3rd-round pick on wide receiver Jalen McMillan to compete with Trey Palmer for the right to be wide receiver 3 behind Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Now, Palmer showed a lot of promise as a rookie last year, so the Bucs are actually now at least 4 deep at wide receiver heading into training camp. But personnel usage is not where the similarities end between the Bucs and the Falcons on offense. As Coen has said multiple times, there will be plenty of motion pre-snap, probably on every play. Well, Robinson said it'll be the same thing in Atlanta. Here's what Robinson was quoted as saying, according to Falcon Report. We're not going to motion just to motion. We know the conflict that can cause on the other side of the ball. When you do motion effectively and you do have an intent behind what you're trying to do, we're always trying to marry everything up, whether it's the run game, pass game, all those things will have a rhyme or reason behind it. Sound familiar? Sounds like Liam Coen, right? Historically, the Rams offense has given Todd Bowles and his defense fits over the years. So kudos to Bowles for leaning into that and bringing the LA offense, which has been tough to defend, to Tampa Bay with the hiring of Coen. Doing so and facing this new look offense in practice every day for an entire month in training camp should help Bowles and his defensive players prepare for facing the Falcons twice a year this year. But for the Falcons defense, they're going to get the exact same benefit facing Robinson's offense in camp. And both Raheem Morris and defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake came from LA, where they faced this Rams offense every day for the past few years. This could come down to the quarterbacks and which quarterback adjusts quicker and better to the new offensive scheme, Atlanta's Kirk Cousins or Tampa Bay's Baker Mayfield. With Mayfield playing in 5 games with the Rams in 2022 and playing in a similar offense last year as Dave Canales' system had its origin in LA, even though it came from Seattle through Shane Waldron, well, that might give the Bucs quarterback an early advantage and might help Tampa Bay in the end. There will be some differences, and each coach will put on his own spin on these new offenses in Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Maybe Coen will use more 3-by-1 formations with 3 wide receivers bunched together in a trips formation. And maybe Robinson in Atlanta can make the Falcons' already dangerous ground game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier even more dangerous than the Bucs run game this year. The interesting facet of all of this with the Bucs and the Falcons games is this is going to make for some really interesting NFC South matchups. It's going to make them even more intriguing because it will be interesting to see which version of the Rams offense is better this year, the one in Tampa Bay or the one in Atlanta, and which team's defense does the best job of stopping it. Well, there's no stopping our Bucs content on Pewter Report TV. That's our YouTube channel. So for more Pewter Pulse episodes, Pewter Report podcasts, and great Bucs video content that we'll be cranking out during training camp, make sure you subscribe. Also, leave a comment. When you do that, as well as hitting the thumbs up button, the like button, those things help our algorithm with YouTube, helps us get in front of more awesome Pewter people like you. Make sure you follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report. And read pewterreport.com every day. We'll have all the latest news leading up to and through Bucs training camp. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.